Thinking about taking a vacation to Hawaii? Well, think again. In today's silly little video, we want to give you a really great, viable vacation alternative destination to Hawaii. Now, I know many of you have had your heart set on getting out of the cold northern hemisphere weather and spending a week on Waikiki or Maui, frolicking in the surf and sipping Mai Tais, wiggling your toes in the sand and watching the sunset. Oh, what could be better? Well, what if I told you that there might be something better, at least a little less crowded and more interesting, just as relaxing and possibly for about the same amount of money? In our last video, we talked about visiting Tahiti, but today we're talking about the island next door, Moorea. It's about 11 miles from Tahiti, and it's a beautiful volcanic island with stunning coral reefs and sandy white beaches. It's absolutely beautiful. And while we were there, Tanya looked at me and said, "I want to come back here." A comment she doesn't always make when I drag her off to remote places. When we were in Moorea, we realized it had some fun hiking opportunities, some unbelievable coral reefs, and on the day we visited, we took a 4x4 island safari vehicle along some dirt roads in different parts of the island and went up to the top of this mountain they call Magic Mountain. Well, that's not really the name of it in Polynesian, but that's what it's called. And we saw some beautiful scenic viewpoints. But let's get down to the numbers here and see how Moorea stacks up as a week-long, or let's say 10-day vacation as an alternative to Hawaii. Okay, so I looked at some numbers. I looked at Google Flights for the best flights from the US, from the West Coast, in March, for example. Okay, so you can fly from San Francisco to Papeete in Tahiti direct on United, 8 hours and 45 minutes. And the dates I put in were departing March 11 and returning March 21st. The total for that, economy class, $639. Now, you could fly a connecting flight from there to Moorea. They do have an airport, but it's only 11 miles away, so it's a really short flight, and sometimes you can have at least a 6-hour layover while you're waiting for this little flight to go over across. So you're much better off. Take the ferry. There are ferries leaving very frequently, and it only takes about 30 minutes to get across to Moorea. Besides, if you did take that extra flight to Moorea from Papeete, it's going to cost at least $200 more for that, and sometimes more. If you didn't happen to hit the schedule just right, and you had to spend overnight in Papeete, well, how bad is that? There's lots of places to stay, and then you can just head over to where the ferries go and do it in the morning. Then I looked at what would be the airfare if you flew direct to Honolulu from San Francisco. And again, United has direct flights, 5 hours, 50 minutes. And the cost if you were going between March 11th and 21st, the same time frame I used before, $329. So that's about $300 less than you would spend if you were going to go to Tahiti and then on to Moorea. So it's a little more, but not a heck of a lot more. Then we look at accommodations. Well, of course, there are tons of options in Hawaii, and especially in Honolulu, because it's so much bigger. But of course, your trade-off is it's Honolulu. Yes, it's Waikiki, it's beautiful, but there are lots and lots of people. Yes, there are lots of infrastructure, there's lots of restaurants, there's lots of fun things to do, but there's that stress of being there in Hawaii. I know that sounds, like an oxymoron, Hawaii stress, but yeah. So your accommodations can be, in Waikiki, you can stay at the Royal Hawaiian for $386 a night. You can stay at the Ritz-Carlton Residences for $750 a night. And, there's just a wide range of options of places that you could stay. So, you can go there stay wherever you like and whatever fits your budget. On Moorea, there aren't as many places to stay, but here's an example. You could stay at the Sofitel Kia Ora Moorea Beach Resort for $436 a night. It has over-the-water bungalows. It's a more or less secluded beach. It's very unspoiled. You can go out in a kayaking. I've included some pictures here that show you what from the Sofitel website to show you what it's kind of what it's like. Another place you could stay if you want even more upscale is the Hilton Moorea Lagoon Restaurant and Spa. Now they were not available on those particular nights that I used, that March 11 through 21, but on other nights they are about $785 a night. So not cheap, but a beautiful experience, and certainly comparable to what you would get in Hawaii if you were spending that same amount of money. So this is not scientific. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm just using this as general information and about a place that we went to that was really pretty. The bottom line is, if you go to Moorea versus Hawaii, it's a 3-hour longer flight. Your hotels are going to be comparable. Your flight will be about $300 more a person. But if you're, over a 10-day period, you're spending that works out to about $30 a day more, if you worked it that way for what your airline is costing. But the trade-off is the experience that you'll get. If you go to Moorea, you won't have any of the mayhem or the hubbub of Honolulu or Waikiki. You'll have the tranquility of a French Polynesian island. Plus, they're really nice people. And it's a whole different experience. It's, I could compare it to, urban versus rural, tranquil versus high speed. And it may take a little bit more effort to get to Moorea, but we think that the experience would be worth it. We haven't done it that way. We were there on a cruise ship, but it's up to you. Just want to give you an alternative. Might be an idea that you want to think about when you think about taking your next Hawaiian holiday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.